Welcome
to the Unexpected Heroes podcast that sheds light on interesting people around the world. And today, I'm going to interview you.
Amazing! It's like this was not part of the story, but why not?
Yeah,
Thank you.
because you're a very interesting person, successful businessman.
Thank
and
you
are
so
my
much.
Inspiration and mentor.
No,
And
you're
love
my
you.
buddy. I'm so honored to work with you.
Yeah, me too.
And-
we've never made any introduction video
True.
to the audience, and you might be thinking, okay, the podcast is interesting, but who are you really, right?
Good point. Very good point.
So I wanted to interview you
Thank
and
you.
introduce you
Thank
to
you
the
very much.
audience. We met a year ago.
Yeah.
I still don't know how many business you have.
Okay.
You are doing so many things.
Yes.
So the main thing you do is the head of Kikkoman, the most famous Japanese soy sauce company's India branch head. And another thing you do is a sushi delivery
Business.
And there's so many things you're doing. So could you explain the gist of what you are doing to the
Okay.
audience?
We'll start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have been fortunate to be in India for the last nearly 18 years. It will be 18 years in April. But I say there are three pillars, you know, 1, 2, 3, of business that I like to do. So one big pillar is Kikkoman, which is a naturally brewed soy sauce, which is originally from Japan. But actually we're selling Kikkoman soy sauce to Indian, Chinese and Pan-Asian restaurants, you know, because it's a big boom. So that's one big business is Kikkoman soy sauce. We also have dark soy sauce and oyster flavor sauce, all of that. The second chunk of the business is Sushi and More, which is a small business which is selling vegetarian, Jain, and non-vegetarian sushi, which is a takeaway delivery business, the small business. And then the third business is helping Japanese and other companies from overseas who want to come to India to launch their products. So we're helping people with their marketing, with their product development, with sales, with partnerships, with distribution, all of that, so that people who want to access the Indian market are able to access the Indian markets. So those are the three things I do. And I think at the base, I have this thing called the Japanese Cuisine Goodwill Ambassador. So that is the government of Japan gave me this honor, and I am helping people in India and also around the world understand more about Japanese cuisine and also Japanese ingredients. So the whole point is to promote better ingredients, quality ingredients from Japan and the cuisine of Japan, because obviously, as you know, people think, okay, Japanese food, sushi. But actually, it's not only sushi. We have so many varieties of Japanese food, soba, ramen, udon, you have Japanese green tea, all of that. So I'm trying to promote different ingredients and different cuisines for the people of India and also around the world. Because actually, in fact, there's 30 million people who are Indian who are living outside of, of India. Even there's, I think, 30,000 people who are Indian who are living in Japan. So the whole point is not only Indians, but I want to promote good things from Japan to India.
Very interesting. A lot of your business are around food, right? So how come you became the ambassador of food?
Japanese Cuisine Goodwill Ambassador. Okay.
So how come you are appointed this ambassador?
Actually, I don't know. But I mean, if I really don't know why they selected me. But it's a big honor because I was the first Japanese Cuisine Goodwill Ambassador appointed in India. But it's because I think, like we talked a little bit about this, it's like I spent a lot of time in this space. So first, I'm a big foodie. So I love food, right?
Okay.
I like sushi, I like all things Japan. I also like biryani, I like butter chicken, I like also dosa. But I'm a big foodie, right? So what the inspiration for me of even coming to India was there was very few Japanese restaurants, say 18 years ago, right? There's still very, very few. But it's much better than 18 years ago. So for me, I wanted myself to eat more Japanese food. So that means why? Okay, then we have to import more, or we have to help Japanese restaurants do better by maybe assisting them with better ingredients or promoting them. So all the last 18 years I've been doing maybe some imports. I've also been doing marketing. I've been doing sales, distribution, and all of that for the last sort of 18 years. And I think that's the reason why, I think about 2 years ago, the Japanese government said, well, why don't you become a Japanese cuisine goodwill ambassador, which is completely unpaid, right? 100% voluntary. It's an honor. It's an honor, but you know, when they appointed me, they said, so Harry-san, now you're Japanese cuisine goodwill ambassador. What are you going to do?
Right. What are you
going to do? I said, okay, let me think about it. So that is when actually the third part of the business, which was consulting, I said, okay, I will have to think of a better way to promote these Japanese companies and help them. So it's quite interesting because like unexpected for me to become an ambassador completely. I never wanted to be an ambassador.
When did you get appointed?
December 2022, so it's about 2 years and a bit, I think. So it was completely unexpected, but it was a good thing because then I thought, okay, I've got to do something. Like you know, you can't like say, oh, I'm ambassador, I'm ambassador, right? You can't say like I'm a YouTuber. You don't do like that, right?
Yeah, right.
You have to have that. Okay, since I've had the honor to be the ambassador, which is only maybe just over 100 people, or maybe just ambassadors around the world by the government to promote Japanese food. I think, okay, I have to do my work properly. So that's why
you're doing amazing.
No, I don't think so. You may think so, but my journey. So we talked about life earlier.
Yeah, right.
It's like this, and then you're like this. Maybe I'm like this, right? I've not achieved anything yet.
What? Do you have so many business and you say that?
You see,
you're insulting other people who
not at all. It's not about insulting other people. It's I think about reaching the potential.
Okay.
Everybody has a potential. And I have actually a business coach with a very nice business coach, Yasmin, a very nice lady. She says, Harry-san, you are able to achieve much more. Right? So I also told you earlier, say life is like this, you're here, your growth is exponentially, growth will be there, because I think your potential is maybe much more than you're doing now. I feel personally that my journey in India, after how many years now? 18 years. In April will be 18 years. It's just starting.
But what defines the potential of yours?
Very
Because
good.
I want my potential to be huge. I want to reach more. But do you think that you can expand the potential, or
It's a very question. It's a great question. I'll answer by asking you a question.
Okay.
Do you think you have reached your potential?
Yes and no, because I do feel like sometimes, okay, today is the peak of my career. Like sometimes there are so great days that I feel
I disagree.
The life will never get even like better.
No, it will get better.
Okay.
No, like think about it. 2 days ago, we were not at that dinner, right?
Yeah.
At that dinner, you had some amazing food, which opened up your mind,
Right.
and you felt the potential of food also, right? This is a very famous restaurant. But what I'm trying to say is that we don't know yet the potential until it happens.
Okay.
And I feel the potential of people who want to have more impact can be much bigger, but their mind is still not ready for the potential.
Okay, then how can we expand our potential?
Very good question. I think simply is by doing your best every day. Yesterday is the past, doesn't exist. Tomorrow is the future, doesn't exist. Only imagination, right? If you put 100% of your energy in fulfilling what you're supposed to do every day, I think your potential will grow.
Maybe the audience don't know, but you are working so hard. Like, before you speak, I want to explain. He gets up at 4 a.m. every day and do yoga for 45 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes? And then you work out and then you start working. How much dedication it takes to do this routine every day. Another thing about him is that he takes flights and go somewhere else, go abroad like 4 or 5 times a week.
Yes.
So he travels a lot, but still he works out every morning. And then he does all the work, like 3 pillars that he said. He does all the tasks, business every day. So I just can't understand logically, like how can you do so much work every day? Why? Why can you do that? And what makes you do that?
I think you're amazing, right?
Well, thank you.
No. Because you have 4 million people who like to hear you, see you, watch you, right? But for you, that is normal.
Right.
Like your life is, I would say it's amazing, it's extraordinary. But from your perspective, it is quite normal, right? You're working every day.
Right.
You work, 18 hours a day.
I sleep 8 hours, so.
Okay. So less than 18 hours a day, let's say, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that what you're doing is amazing. From your perspective, what Hare-san is doing amazing. But for me, waking up before o'clock, doing my yoga, doing my exercise, meeting hundreds of people, doing a lot of work is normal. Because when extraordinary becomes normal and normal becomes extraordinary, that is when you're reaching the potential. But the next potential above is there. So that you have to do the work every day. And then 3 years later, you look around and say, oh, maybe my new normal is extraordinary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Because
so, yeah.
when you were studying Hindi, you were just a student, right? If I may say, right?
Right.
But now, after how many years? I don't know, 10 years or 8 years, 8 years,
yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
10 years, right? You're already doing something extraordinary. But for you, you feel that every day as a YouTuber is quite normal, right?
Right.
You see the psychology.
Yeah.
So for me, after, I'm like a little bit older than you, so people saying, oh, that's amazing. But my coach will say, no, Hare-san, your potential is much bigger. So think about how you can make systems and how you can improve your day so that the time you're spending makes your potential bigger. And I think, dreaming is one thing. To imagine more, bigger or smaller, it's more about imagining what could be, maybe, is important. And
Working hard every day and building every day.
Yeah. So no, seriously, I want to mention one thing. I'm actually quite lazy.
I don't think so.
No, I'll tell you a story. I have this thing, I should give it to you,
Okay.
where you can track what you're doing every 6 minutes.
Okay, if you track every 6 minutes, then of course there will be some lazy 6 minutes. Though.
No, but there's a lot of lazy 6 minutes if you count the number of.
How come you count?
No, so there's a sheet. I'll give it to you. It's called a 6-minute sheet,
Wow.
where you write down what you've done every 6 minutes.
Where did you learn how?
So that was my first job at Arthur Anderson. like
Yeah,
your
right. Consulting
your
firm.
consultant
Yeah.
from now is Accenture.
Yeah.
It's gone now because
Yeah.
that's no longer there. But the first job, I had to write every 6 minutes what I was doing.
Wow.
So that's why I'm valuing my time more than maybe other people.
But that's, I think, a great tips in life. The first job, the work ethics. Really defines.
You learned a lot through, right?
Yeah.
In your consulting job.
Yeah, actually, I am really happy that I worked in PwC as a first job.
But that's because you went to your university.
Yeah, but the point is everyone in the company worked really, really hard, and that defined my work ethics. So
I think you're working harder than the people who are still at the same company, maybe.
I don't know. They were quite hard.
Really? Really?
How many times I almost missed the last train? I mean.
No, but now.
Maybe, yeah. But then 6 minutes shoot, interesting concept.
I will send it to you.
Yeah, please. So you still follow the
No,
concept?
I try to, but sometimes I say, okay, I don't want the sheet.
Yeah.
No,
But
see,
you write down like everyday basis?
I used to. So,
Used
but
to.
and I give this sheet to my team and some of the friends who want it because it makes you think. Because there's a lot of time we are now scrolling on Instagram,
Right. A lot.
looking at I don't know what is it, Netflix, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
like
That's a problem on myself because like as an influencer I need to sometimes do some another like,
which is fine, which is fine.
but I end up spending a lot of time on social media. So that's hard to stop. So I'd love to try. So like when you write down the things you do on the 6 minute sheet, I don't there is like specific timer or something?
No.
You
So
use
basically it says 9 o'clock to 9:06.
Okay.
9:07 to 9 was it?
12.
Every 6 minutes.
Okay. So you just put the clock here.
No,
And
yeah,
then
the clock is.
sheet.
I mean, my iPhone
then-
is there, and then the sheet is there
Why 6 minutes, not 5?
because it's 60 minutes an hour.
Oh,
10 slots in an hour.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try that. But I think
I'll send you the sheet.
Yeah.
We can show it to the people.
That might explain a lot about you.
I like to work. I enjoy working. I enjoy like meeting people, but you see, we are so lucky to be alive. I think we must value our time more. 6 minutes can change your life. Just imagine the earthquake in Kobe was there,
Right.
or beautiful things. Like you might meet a beautiful husband to be or boyfriend in 6 minutes.
Right.
You never know,
You
right?
never know. You just go out and do it.
You go down here from the studio, turn right, and you might bump into somebody.
Right.
So that is why I think the 6 minutes is a small kind of unit, but I value 6 minutes of every 6 minutes that we're living. We're so lucky.
So now I want to ask you about you and India. So how come you came to India 18 years ago and started your own business?
Okay, so thank you for asking the question. So when I came to India, India was a very different place. But it really is thanks to my friend. I'm grateful to him. He was a student at my international school. So he kind of said, he went to top university, Caltech, and I went to LSE in Oxford. But he's like, actually, Harrison, I'm getting married. So this is 1995.
Okay.
So
1995, I was 1 year old.
amazing. I was 24.
Okay.
And actually, that was the year that the 30 years ago that the big Hanshin Kobe earthquake happened.
Right.
So it was a big year. Okay, that was in January, and this wedding was in December. So I said to myself, I have to go to this wedding. So I went with my girlfriend then, my partner now. That was December, and from there I've been coming back and forth. And as I said to you, I met Mother Teresa, and somehow I've always wanted to work in a growing economy because when I was working at Virgin and Dyson, these are successful businesses, but Japan wasn't growing. I was working in Japan back then, so population was starting to decline. Although Japan is a very powerful nation, GDP wise, and also influential, so many good things, good food, whatever. But still, Japan, I felt this was before I came. Around 20 years ago, when I was making the thinking process, and this was 18 years ago, I said I want to be part of a growing economy so that I can also grow, maybe make my mistakes, and then enjoy being part of an incredible, diverse, and exciting culture like India.
Very interesting. What was the first thing you did in India?
Yeah, so first when I first came, I really didn't know what to do.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, because it was not like you got transferred.
No. I took one
anything, you
suitcase.
just went.
I took one suitcase to. It was crazy, right?
That takes a lot of courage, though. Like
No, it's not about courage. It's like I think it's not. It's about not knowing. And sometimes if you know too much, you will not do things.
Okay.
So I decided to take a suitcase and go to India, which is crazy if you think about it.
It is crazy, I think.
And the thing is, when you're there, and the first few months I was trying to figure things out, and then we started initially importing Japanese food.
Okay.
That was the first business. So we were actually selling our food to like Four Seasons Mumbai and some supermarkets and some restaurants and hotels. That's where it all began. But when I first came, it was more like, okay, what am I gonna do, right? But see, I always like food. You know, I told you earlier that I'm a foodie. So I said, okay, why don't we start with supplying food that wasn't readily available in India. So that's the start.
And so now you have so many businesses. I want to know what's your typical week.
So as I was saying, you know, 5 days to 6 days a week, I'm doing yoga and gym in the morning, which gives me a lot of energy and peace, and also, you know, I think fit body and well-being is related. You know, like heart, soul. I think you have to have a fit body and work out. All I think very important. But I actually live in a hotel 300 nights a year or more. I check in and I check out. I check in and I check out.
So where is your house? You live in
So
India?
we have no. I don't. I do live in India, but I'm based in Singapore. Like my wife and daughter live in Singapore.
Okay.
And then I'm basically going around India and also around the world, living in hotels. So it's quite intense. I don't have a house.
I think your wife is missing you.
I don't know about that. I think maybe my wife and daughter are very independent. So they say, especially in Japanese family, I think you have to reach your full potential. Means that you don't have to be there physically. You know, we are together in thinking and mind and emotionally maybe. But so I check in and check out 300 nights a year. But like a typical week, Monday, Tuesday, I might be in Bombay. Wednesday, I will be in Bangalore. Thursday, I might be in Kolkata. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I might be in Delhi.
Wow.
And that means that's a lot of travel, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a few thousand kilometers of travel. And there I meet, you know, tens of, maybe sometimes in a week I'll meet 100 people or more. So I enjoy meeting interesting people. And I think I was just, when we were just doing this interview, I thought, if you and I had not met, if I hadn't said, oh, Maya-san, you're famous, can I take a photograph with you?
Yeah.
Which is the true thing,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
And it started from that.
Yeah.
Then, see, that's why I think action is very important. So in my typical week, all the travel will happen, plus I will be meeting people, I will be making phone calls, I will doing emails, I will have a full day of interacting with so many people, and also thinking about what to do, what not to do. This is also very important. You know, what should I do? What should I not do?
Yeah, because you need time to do things.
Exactly. Because you have to choose, right? You know, there's always, you know, you can't. It's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing is that I'm trying to focus on maximizing my day. So every 6 minutes that's why it's important.
Wow. So many things to learn. It's a lot of dedication, right? Hearing that, I get really tired because like traveling so much. How can you take that kind of, you know,
But that's the
hard
same.
work?
But that's the same, right? If I look at you, I can't be doing editing for how many hours is it? 10, 15 hours a day, right? Right.
Yeah.
For me, that looks very challenging and not so easy. But if you do it, if you become used to it, you know, we have this phrase in Japanese, nare, right? That you get used to it, then it becomes, see, the normal becomes extraordinary, the extraordinary becomes normal.
For me, that's nare is one thing, and the second thing, I'm doing something that I love. That's why I can.
I also love
Is
what
that
I'm doing.
for
Yes,
same
for
you?
sure.
So, are you doing this hard work because you love it, or you have the goal that you set and you want to achieve
That's
it?
a very good question. So, one, I don't think it's hard work at all.
Okay.
This is from your perspective. Like for me, this is living life at the full potential of the full potential that I have right now. So it's not hard work. It's just me. It's not work or life, or what is it called? Work or leisure. It's more life. That's number one.
Okay.
Secondly, I don't know yet what that goal is. See, the goal is very difficult. You know, some people say, okay, I want to become, you know, I want to earn $1 million, right? I don't have that. For me, it has always been enjoying now. Having the best day ever.
That's very interesting.
Because a lot of friends, I have friends, like, in fact, I have a friend whose father when he said, when I'm 60, I'm gonna do this. When I'm 60, I'm gonna travel the world. You know what happened? At 60, unfortunately, he passed away.
Right.
So what does that mean? Maybe he sacrificed so much for his family, which is great, but then if you think about it, your life is like this long, right? In 60 is like here maybe, right? But during this time, if you do not do maximum of what you would like to do and think you can wait until 60 and do everything, I don't think life works like that. So for me, try to do the things that you want to do when you can do it. And it's very difficult. Very difficult.
Very true.
Very incredibly difficult, honestly. Because sometimes when you want to do what you want to do, you have to sacrifice some things, right?
Right.
Right. Some people may not think it's sacrifice, but it may be sacrifice, right? To answer your question, I have no goal. I have my goal. Maybe that's wrong or right. I don't know. But my goal is to be happy, to 100% enjoy now and today.
I think that was quite a great advice to the
It's
young.
not advice. It's just how I'm living my life.
I want to, for podcast, I want the audience to, learn something. And maybe everyone has their own right answers to their life.
Sure.
But I think I'm really liking your advice. I take it as an advice because, I like to work hard, but sometimes I prioritizing, work over what I really want to do. Like work, I love, but still there are other things that I want to do. But I feel like I put it aside because I want to achieve this. But you're very right because we never know, we might die because
tomorrow.
of the car accident tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think that was
obviously everything is balanced, right? You can't go to Paradise Island every day.
Right.
Nor maybe you can, but see, life has different stages, right? So even for you, it's all about balance. Maybe if there's 10 things you really want to do, maybe you do only 2 now. Right? Sometimes you have to wait a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
So there's no point about waiting.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your great life lesson as well as your experience. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope the audience also enjoyed. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and also comment and share. Yes.
With all the people that you also want to interact with in the future.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.